Imagine we're all under hypnosis. Imagine right now we're all being played like a fiddle under the spell of a certain someone. I ain't gonna lie, I saw a few different things that have been said recently in the comments, and it got me really brainstorming and thinking, because Black Clover chapter 311, it got me big brain thinking in terms of, well, what's the end game goal, right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, with the latest chapter, it showcased that, okay, the Dark Triad has fallen. We've seen the fall of Vonica. We've seen the fall of Dante. Now we've seen the fall of Zenon, and we're left with Morris. I don't know if I want to say that Morris is the grandioso. I mean, we still have technically Lucifero in the wings, and everything that's being built up in the latest chapter is showcasing that Lucifero is going to be a very, you know, end game type of boss. But it feels like there's supposed to be more, especially considering what we talked about in last week's episode regarding Tabata shadowing out the face of the fourth and final Zograti's sibling. A lot of people still to this point are like, yo, well, what was the point of that if it's not going to be like a big reveal? I mean, it could very well be no particular reason why he shadowed it out. Think of One Piece, Odin, how Odin's face was shadowed out for the longest, and it made it feel like, well, what's the big deal of shadowing out his face if there was no big reveal? So it could just be something as simple as that. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like there's something major, and we've talked about it again, but what if we're actually being manipulated? What if we're actually being put under the spell of hypnosis on some Sosuke, Aizen, Bleach type of thing? Y'all know that Black Clover, it's inspired by a couple of series that normally aren't inspirations, or at the very least aren't spoken about of being inspirations. Berserk and Bleach. A lot of people don't really say, yeah man, you know, I was inspired by Berserk, even though Berserk inspired so many different things from video games to films, all sorts of stuff, but people don't really say that. And also, there's a little bit of inspiration from Bleach. I mean, the dual wielding, a lot of different aspects of Bleach you've seen within Black Clover. Sosuke, Aizen, Julius, Conqueror, let's talk about it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Now, like I said before, there's a lot to be said regarding that final sibling. We're going to talk some more about it in a little bit, but there was some big plays that happened recently in the manga that kind of makes me at the same time feel like, while it's big plays, so to speak, I definitely don't feel as though it's still endgame boss at the very least when it comes to Morris. But the chapter opens up with kind of resolving everything that we've had built up to this point with Zenon, his battle against Yuno, and Zenon is basically saying to him, like, admitting that, you know, since our first encounter, I felt like there was something similar within you to me, to myself. It reminded me of something within myself that I've seen. And I love Yuno's response to his question, what makes us different? What made us different? And Yuno's like, don't ask me that question, fam. I'll slap the now. Don't ask me that question. I don't even know myself yet. I'm still yet to complete the vow I made with a certain person, or with him, you know, referring to Asta, who's going to be the Wizard King. So I still don't even have the answers myself. So Yuno is admitting that I still got a ways to go to be able to give you that proper answer that you're looking for right now in terms of what made you go left and me go right. It's kind of sad to me, to be honest with you, to a certain degree, and not sad in a boohoo way, but sad to see the end of the Dark Triad. Like, they have been built up for a couple of years now. They were introduced already, what has been about 2 years, I want to say, a year and some change, almost 2 years of seeing the Dark Triad, Dante, Vonica, and all of them. So to finally see them coming to an end with the last of the trio, Zenon, being defeated, it definitely is, I guess, a little bit sad for me that I was very so fan of them, big fan of them. So to see them come to an end, and again, out of the three of them, it's interesting that the one that was least spoken, the one that was the most quiet, the most reserved, actually had the most character. Honestly, again, looking back, Monica just crazy, Dante just an asshole. This guy, he had reasoning behind it. That feels like a missed opportunity for Tabata to have expanded on the other two. He gave some great development even up until this point right now, the latest chapter. He gave great development to Zenon, understanding that he was essentially misguided. He made one bad choice and it kind of changed the course of his future and his life. Like, if he didn't go all the way back then and actually kill Alan, if he found a way to save Alan and defeat that devil, things would have been different. And he's asking that question to Yuno, but I feel as though he already knows the answer. I feel as though it was really the choice that he made, and ultimately following his brother, because even after that, you could have went and made a life of atoning. If he's not completely wiped out when all is said and done, I feel like there's going to be some redemption for Zenon. Opposed to the other two, there's no redemption for them. They're crazy. They don't give a This one right here, I could see if Lucifero pops up and he's fighting. I could see Zenon showing up and trying to do something to redeem himself at the very end. Basically adding in, like, I wasn't able to make the right call when it came time to it all the way back then with Alan. again, but I'm gonna make the right call right now. I'm gonna save these people. I'm gonna help these people at the very least, especially once he sees Asta. He's probably gonna be mind blown like, Alan? And speaking of Asta, we cut to him and he notices that things are disintegrating, falling apart, and all sorts of stuff because the Dark Triad has been defeated and it's knocked. I believe that actually makes a call like, oh snap, the final one, Zenon, has fallen. Like, it's over, Yuno defeated him, which kind of adds to the whole finality for me, unfortunately, of yeah, it's donezo for the Dark Triad. And it's interesting that just in time, like, you know, within the last few chapters of it's the end of the Dark Triad, Tabata was like, well, let's add one more Zograti sibling in there. I guess he could have done a better job of foreshadowing this character like way back when. I'm sure somebody's gonna point out like that one chapter we saw the fourth elbow, like, all right, because I want to say it's probably been maybe in the last 10 chapters or so where we finally got the first glimpse of that Zograti sibling, even mention of it. But they're still confused because Nock's like, okay, so why if the Triad has fallen is the Tree of Qliphotep still advancing? Like, it's supposed to fall apart. That's it. Hello, they're the catalyst to all of this stuff. What's going on here? And to that I say plot. No. And fam, Tabata, really? Like, we see some of, what do they call the Saint stage? The Saints or whatever, the Heart Kingdom soldiers there fighting. And I'm like, I guess. I feel like Tabata purposely had not shown a lot of those 4 people. He only really showed Gaja because I think, like, initially he thought the anime was going to add more. But then, you know, the anime came to an end. So he was kind of left with, hey, I didn't advance the people that were, you know, initially set up to be something big or whatever. And now when he just shows them, I'm just like, wasted potential. And this is where we're going to get into the nitty gritty of a lot of the things that I did want to say. We cut to Julius and his helper, and Mans is like, yo, what's going on? Are you alright? Something wrong? Because Julius is there. He looks like he's in pain. He's breathing heavy. He's like, something is not right. It feels like something enormous is about to emerge. Now, obviously, he didn't say that because, for starters, his balls hasn't dropped yet. He's like 10 years old. And also, but I ain't gonna lie, I did find it interesting. Like, well, why is Julius, like, why is something wrong with him? Why does he look like he's in pain and he's breathing heavy? Like, what's going on here? Like, okay, I get it. You maybe feel something is off or whatever, but he looks like he's in some serious pain. Like, he's in some dire straits. Like, if something is about to happen to him with the emergence of whatever is coming. So let's jump into it. A lot of things you guys have said and I picked up on as well. For starters, Julius handpicked William Vengeance and Yami from the very get-go. Like, why would he do that? Like, that's something very interesting to note, that he picked the 2 people that coincidentally are needed for Qliphotep way back in the day. Also, Julius, very mysterioso type of dude, right? Like, his hobbies include transforming and being fascinated by magic. Like, whoa, what type of magic is that? In fact, why has he always acted as if he was foreign to magic in the Clover Kingdom? Like, oh my god, I can't believe this magic. Like, this is your home, right? Like, you've seen all sorts of stuff. You're the Wizard King. You're the, you know, leader of it all. Why were you fascinated by certain magic? Why were you fascinated by Asta's magic to begin with? Why did you pick up on the fact that he had a different grimoire to begin with? In fact, when we first see you, why are you transforming into different people? And now all of a sudden, like, some things to wonder, I ain't gonna lie. Why is it that, similar to the Dark Triad, how they all had marks on them, you had the star. Now there was an explanation of some deep magic and you know, how he was able to do it with the star from the jump, but he also didn't have that star earlier on. What about if this dude is really on some eyes and what about if it's not time magic that he's been using all along, but it's some similar to Aizen on some hypnosis? He's manipulating people. He's actually making people think he's seen. What if this entire time he hasn't even been a child? What about, because I ain't gonna lie, it was a little eerie when we first saw him at the end of the Devil arc and we saw he was just a little kid and Yami was like, what the hell? Like, it felt a little bit strange. What if actually it's because of, let's just say again, similar to an Aizen from Bleach, where if you saw his Shikai, you automatically would be under his hypnosis? What about if this entire time he hasn't even been a child? What about if this entire time he hasn't even looked exactly the way we thought he'd look, and it's just that if you see something or he does something to you, you automatically are under his spell of seeing what he wants you to see? Also, something interesting to note that I caught was the fact that the voice actor for Julius in the anime is the same voice actor that voiced Griffith in Berserk. And I know some people are going to say, well, didn't he also voice the 4th Hokage Minato? Well, yeah, there's misdirection in a lot of different things. And also, Yuki Tabata has been heavily involved in the production of everything Black Clover. Like, he's been really integral to things. So, yeah, he's going to like, hey, it's masquerading as this new Naruto, almost like a damn ripoff. But internally, it really has the heart of Berserk. And in case you don't know about Griffith, he was a traitor. Big traitor. Like, you know, Julius, conqueror, type of traitor. Also, something interesting to note as well, considering the fact that Yuno has star magic, and Yuno is from the Spade Nation, and that star that, again, we was told at the very least was from, you know, an ancient thing or whatever, it was initially on his forehead, Julius. Well, you know, the Zograti spade, you get where I'm going with that. Then, you know, going back to the battle against Patri, again, something else you guys pointed out, like this is the collaboration between all of us to kind of figure and bust out the mystery. Something that was said was, hold up, what if he actually could have defeated Patri? What if he wasn't cornered in the battle against Patri and it was simply like, yo, I need this dude's body, I cannot kill him right now, so I'm gonna fake my death, I'm gonna let him have it, whatever the case may be, just so that I could go and recoup, and yeah, he's going to be very vital to the Tree of Qliphoth. Like, there's so many different things that point to it, on top of the fact that if there is going to be a big plot reveal that is going to be very interesting, that's going to blow everyone's minds on the level of what Aizen did in Bleach, it will be Julius. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Damnatio, I'm not gonna be all that, like, mind blown, like, whoa, Damnatio. I'm gonna be like, oh, Damnatio. Like, yeah, kind of makes sense. Cool. Like, if it's Julius, that would be humongous on top of all the other clues of just, he's felt off from the very beginning. A lot of people, before the big flip of William Vengeance and Patri and all that jazz, thought that there was something with Julius even back then. It could just be that the way Tabata wrote him was kind of weird, and he just comes across as a weirdo, or it could be something else. He doesn't have a freaking cover on his grimoire. What's up with that? Too much mystery. Again, it could be something totally different. There could be another arc coming after this one that is going to go even more into where he comes from, and he's not a bad guy. Or it could be that he's that fourth Zograti sibling. I even seen an image, it was like a manga image at that Tabata had drew of Julius, and like, you know, it's just giving a little description of him. And if you compare that side by side to Zenon of the Dark Triad, his brother, if it is, you know, the case, they look identical almost. It's almost like, holy. So again, going back to what tied in all of this, you know, conspiracy theory regarding Julius, yeah, why is he out of breath and in pain? And I guess you could say that it was very strenuous of him turning into his adult form for that second in the battle that he just had not that long ago against the giant demon. Or it could be something else. It could be maybe he has links to Lucifero to begin with, or maybe he has his own demon. Maybe Satan himself is his demon. Like, there's just so many endless possibilities. And I ain't gonna lie, it would be freaking hype. I know there's some people that, no, I want Julius, he's a good guy, I love him. Cool beans. I think plot twists on that caliber that is set up that far in advance to the very beginning to 300 chapters later, that is mind-blowingly awesome and really, really well done. But then we cut and we see Dorothy down, which Dorothy has always been very freaking hacks. Dorothy is a powerful mage, you know, her dream magic. So to see her down, I'm kind of like, wait, what the hell is going on? And this was kind of, I guess, building up a little bit more about Morris, because I ain't gonna lie, out of everybody between the Triad, you know, the big build-up of Lucifero, Magicula, all of this, Morris is the one that I'm least hype about. I mean, I guess he has less of a moral compass and really doesn't care. He's just like, almost you could say, even worshiping these devils, opposed to Dante, because it's revealed as well that he has Lucifero, like he's inhabiting his body. But I was just like, wow, like that's a major jump for Morris from, you know, being a scrub to he's able to take out Dorothy. And it also felt a little bit convenient as well that, oh, his magic was enhanced to the point that he could affect intangible objects. I'm like, a little bit convenient, but all right. I mean, to be honest with you, one of the characters that I've always said, like, it's really ridiculous on how to defeat them is Dorothy. Her magic has always, to me, felt just ridiculously hacked. I remember they had that really incredible filler episode where all the captains were fighting and everything. I was like, how do you take out Dorothy? She's too OP. She's Freddy Cougar. Or is it Krueger? You know what I mean. But Morris, as he brags about how freaking strong he is, it seems as though he's going to play with Lotus until things is over. And I ain't gonna lie, this is like, again, I just gotta be honest with you, one of the least interesting things. I'm like, Lotus? Like Morris and Lotus? These are like the side, you know, the C team of characters. And Morris even tries to tell Lotus, like, yo, you know, I'll let you off the hook. I'm not really upset about what you were trying to do. Just, you know, let's get it together. And I at the very least appreciate Lotus saying, yo, I got a family, fam. Like, I'm not trying to do none of this. I respect that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a family guy myself, so I respect it. He's like, yeah, my family can't live in this new world. Yeah, trying to just have it a devil inhabited world. Like, what are you trying to do? To which it really demonstrates Morris at this point what he is. He's, you know, straight up evil. He's evil. He's like, oh, love, family. Oh, no. That's not on the agenda. Yeah, you gotta die, fam. What are you talking about? Because he says he has no need for family or love or relationships or anything like that in this new world. He's only just simply a messenger for the supreme devil, Lucifero. And you can tell Lucifero is loving that. Like, yo, yeah, stroke my ego, baby. Stroke that. you go. Because Dante thought he was the supreme dude. He just thought like, yo, you my battery, fam. That's the difference between the hosts that they've had so far. Like Dante, there was a limit to how much he was gonna let you do, because Dante felt like, nah, I'm the G around here. You ain't, no, it's me. Where Morris is like, think of like Code from Boruto, how Code worships, like that's more along the lines of what Morris is. Wow, that's kind of crazy. The two Studio Pierrot shows are kind of aligning in that aspect. Also interesting to note, now that I think about it, that Lucifero ditched Dante completely for Morris, and it looks like things are about to start speeding up now, and I think that was something that Tabata had set up already for a little bit now, because Lucifero's like, oh, that Majikila thought they were being slick, now I already know. So essentially when the second gate opens, Lucifero could come through, opposed to the 7 gates. I feel like that was a backup plan on Tabata's part, instead of making this arc, because realistically, if it was gonna be like 7 gates and all this crazy there could have been demons upon demons upon demons that he could have wrote for them to have, you know, combat with. But the fact that with the second gate alone, the biggest and strongest Lucifero is about to come through, yeah, that's probably saying that this arc isn't going to last as long as it potentially could have, and it might actually start wrapping up. That's why probably the Dark Triad have already been finished off. Like a lot of things have been resolved to push to this point where now it's Morris and Lucifero and the 4th Zograti sibling, Aizen. I don't know, I really love that Aizen theory. And also the fact that Morris proclaims that, well, we don't really need the Triad anymore anyways. As long as we got Yami and William Vengeance, we Gucci. Like, that's all we need for the Tree of Quillfault, because he's conveniently been able to modify the tree to only need them. We don't need the Dark Triad. And a part of me feels like, I hope the Dark Triad does get a second wind. I hope they're able to, which I don't think, did any of them die? I think they were just really like badly. I don't think any of them were killed off per se. I would love to see them just jump up, not in the name of good for all of them, because Vonica isn't a good person, but just like, oh, you played me, this is the get back for playing me. I want to see them do that. And the chapter closes off with Morris using a double modification power to make a double, just like, I don't even know, like a golem it looked like, and attacking Lotus, with the Black Bull showing up at the end, which kind of a little bit of, you know, it's been a really dark chapter, so having a little bit of a positivity at the end isn't necessarily a bad thing, where we got Vanessa, we got Gray, Ghost, Gordon, and Henry showing up to save Yami. And I love that we get the little paddle of Yami, and it was like a twitch, like he felt like, oh, my guys is here, let's go. So I'm willing to bet within the next couple chapters, Yami is going to be brought back into the fold. If he's starting to get a twitch that his peoples is here, they must be really close by to be able to rescue Yami, on top of the fact that it's down to Morris. If they could even just distract Morris while he has Lucifero, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Magna was able to take out Dante, and he had Lucifero for how many years? He just got Lucifero now, and I get it that he's an easier vessel to use, and we're really close to the second gate, but if everybody just started jumping this motherfucker, I think we have a fair chance of getting Yami out of there. And even if Yami's a little bit weakened, yo, dark magic attack, get this motherfucker out of here. And with all that being said, very interesting stuff. Curious what you guys think. More clues about Julius and everything to do with potentially him being that 4th Zograti sibling. Do you like that, or do you hate it? Genuinely, I'm having a very good time with it, because I think that would be a fascinating, insane reveal of something built from the very beginning of the story till now, of him being the big villain of all of Black Clover. That would be really insane, but maybe you think differently. Let me know why. Also, how do you feel about Morris right now and his stake in all of these things, of him being the vessel for Lucifero at this point, Lucifero getting ready to come out with that second gate? Do you think they're going to actually allow in the story for Lucifero to come through, or he's going to be stopped before then? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the future of Black Clover with chapter 3, 12, and beyond. Looking forward to seeing where things go. I would love that Julius reveal, though. I'm just saying, all the clues are there, baby. But that's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga, one life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and Julius, if you are the 4th Zograti, that's gonna be crazy. But either way, looks like we're reaching slowly but surely the end of this arc. There's not much left. Morris, Lucifero, boom, we rescue Yami and Vengeance, and we out of here. Have an awesome one.
So just go to find me.